Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanis, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a ridiculous show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. We already let y'all know we had this content coming. We put up a video, a story on our Instagram. If you're not following us on IG, my handle is CTABANZ. If you're not following the channel, it's DREAMERSPRO, same in the channel. Make sure you follow us on IG because we also communicate with a lot of our viewers there, right? But yo, I put up a story right before producing the show, and I said, yo, like, y'all got me hot with all of these disrespectful, crazy Michael Jordan takes that I'm seeing. And I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. And today we gotta give him that work. You know, you gotta give him that work. You know, y'all gonna get this work. You know, shout out to Loaded Lux. Y'all gonna get this work today because enough is enough. I'm tired of hearing the slander. I'm tired of the bad arguments. I'm tired of all of the crazy things that people are saying in sports media. And we gotta put a stop to this, right? We gotta put a stop to this. In DREAMERSPRO, we have to play our part in pushing back on some of these crazy narratives. And that's what we're going to do today. Now, as you guys know, a lot of people in the NBA community have been reacting to those crazy ass comments that Anthony Edwards said, where to sum it all up, he basically said Michael Jordan was the only player that had skill back then. That's essentially what he said. There was nothing else. There was nothing he added to the end of that. He didn't come back and say, oh, I forgot to say this. That's exactly what he said. And various people have been going out there giving their takes on it. You heard what Kevin Garnett had to say about it. He has some strong comments. A lot of us were waiting for people from that generation to step up to the plate and actually push back on some of this nonsense, because some of them, to be honest with you, have been playing into some of the nonsense that we've been seeing out there. But Kevin Garnett pushed back on it. So what happened? This morning I was on the internet and I came across some videos that was produced by, not video, some articles that was produced by fadeawayworld.net. And these articles, they were saying that Gilbert Arenas was taking shots at Michael Jordan's era, taking shots at the competition he played against, just saying a bunch of crazy stuff. And I was like, nah, we got to say something about this. But before we even get into what Gilbert Arenas had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select two or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting two entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit matchup up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is we want to play exactly what Gilbert Arenas had to say here, and I want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to him here.
With that kind of jumping ability, and everybody else is 6'4". So think about everybody else who couldn't jump past 36 inches, right? Like if you really want, like if we really want to have this discussion about Jordan's competition, just go this. Top 5 shooting guards in history. He didn't play against any of them. In their prime. Kobe's 2. But he had a young Kobe at
98.
90. Okay, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade, James Harden, T-Mac, Vince. Like he didn't, like so when we talk about the top 10, the Jordan didn't face these guys. History is showing you who's who now because time has went by.
The chat is saying Clyde Drexler deserves a look at what he was doing.
Jumping ability, but did Clyde, like Clyde was athletic.
He was just gliding.
It was the
glide.
Like he
had good post game.
But remember that. But that's what I'm saying. Back then they had the dribble. That was different, right? So it's
Why are you doing it like this, though?
for the most part.
He's saying they don't got no skill. He said,
No, it's just rules, man.
we was passing the ball more back then. We wasn't handling it. Hey, get off the ball.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna say, listen, you were handicapped by your time, man. It was the rule. So when you're looking at some guy who can go 200 miles an hour and they look at a car, that car at the time was going 100, that was fast as then.
Yeah.
Right? But a guy who's moving at 200, that you're slow. Right? Like that, and that's all it really is. It's disrespectful, but you gotta look at it from his engine now.
Yeah, especially when you're going to go get an old school car still buying old
Muscle
schools.
cars, yeah.
Like if he said, if like Kyrie and Dame and all them, like, yo, we most skillful than the 2000, you're not gonna hear me be like, oh, no, that's bust your ass. You're doing things that wasn't even available. We ain't even, like it wasn't the double step back with the, like all that stuff wasn't available when I played. So yeah, you're more skillful than I was.
But could you me though? That's what they said. Like, imagine it's like, hey, yeah, I hear all that, but young fella, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but
you wouldn't be able to. I hear you what you're saying, but I'll put your ass down there in that gas chamber, see what you did, see what it smell like.
But that's why I said when people talk about like, could who stop who? You have to go with the evolution.
Yeah.
Right? Because, that's why I said when Grant Hill came in with the left to right crossover, they didn't even know what to do then. Hey, just come on, man. Right? So you got to keep everybody in the information that they have. So these guys don't have this information, right? These guys don't know what it is to play in the 80s and 90s. You needed a different skill. You needed to be cerebral, right? You had to be smarter about the game.
So you heard what Gilbert Arenas had to say there, right? I want to take my time with this show. I want to take my time. As you guys have been seeing, we've been producing some longer videos because I don't want to rush through the content no more. I really want to get all of my thoughts out on every single topic that we produce. But Gilbert Arenas was saying, and I don't know why he took it to this conversation because no one was talking about that. No one brought up athleticism and all of this other stuff. He said, and his comments were clear, Anthony Edwards said Jordan was the only player back then that has skills. He did not say Jordan was the only player back then that was athletic. He said he was the only player in his era that has skills. It's one of the reasons Magic Johnson reacted the way that he did. If he had said Jordan was the only one that had athleticism, I don't think Magic Johnson would have reacted with the fervor that he did when he was speaking to Stephen A. Smith. So that's the first thing. We want to keep it to what Anthony Edwards said. But since Gilbert Arenas decided to take it to a different direction, he's saying, who are the athletes that Michael Jordan played against? Number one, at his position. And number two, he said, who are the athletes that Michael Jordan played at his position? And Jordan never played against the greatest players in his position in the history of the sport, right? So he's saying that to say what? Because we went from Anthony Edwards saying that there was no skill to now saying that Jordan didn't play against any real I'm lost. Right? And this is what happens when you try to make arguments in defense of crazy things that people like Anthony Edwards says. So he's saying that MJ basically was the only great athlete in his era. And therefore, because he had this extreme athleticism, he was able to dominate, especially at the two guard spot. Okay, so if that's your argument against Jordan, is Kevin Durant a better athlete than LeBron James? Is Stephen Curry a better athlete than LeBron James? Is Tim Duncan a better athlete than LeBron James? Is Kawhi Leonard a better athlete than LeBron James? No. LeBron is clearly the superior athlete to all of these people, but nevertheless, they beat him. All of these guys I just mentioned have beat LeBron in the finals. All of them. So what does athleticism have to do with anything? What does athleticism have to do with anything? You're saying that Jordan had an athletic edge on his contemporaries. So therefore that meant what? By him having that edge, he was able to dominate them and win. But in the case of LeBron, he has an athletic edge on all of these people I just mentioned, but yet they've beaten him. So what does that mean? It means there's more to the conversation than simply Michael Jordan's sheer athletic ability. There's more to the conversation than that. But I want to take it a step further because he talked about who are the players, these freak athletes that Michael Jordan played against in his position. So I went back and I did some digging, and I wanted to see who are the top forwards, small forwards, that LeBron James played in his position throughout the course of his career. Let's go through some of the names here. Rudy Gay, Gordon Hayward, Luol Deng, Paul Pierce. Was Paul Pierce an athletic marvel? I don't believe he was. Certainly not to the level that Jordan was, that LeBron was. Andre Iguodala, Carmelo Anthony. He was a bull, but he was not the athlete LeBron was, although he was athletic. But no one would say that Carmelo Anthony was on the same wavelength as an athlete as LeBron James was. Who else? Paul George, who was athletic, not as athletic as LeBron James. We can all agree on this. Kawhi Leonard, who was athletic, not as athletic as LeBron James. And Kevin Durant. Those are the top players that LeBron played at his position. Which one of those guys were freak athletes to the level that LeBron James was? Please, let's hear them. Let's hear these freak athletes that LeBron was going against, because somehow now this is being held as something against Jordan. So I want to propose your line of thinking, and let's apply it to LeBron James, who, for whatever reason, you seem to love to compare, love to defend. How does it work in the favor of LeBron James? What do we now think about LeBron? Do we think more of him or less of him? And I got to ask you, what do we think about MJ after listening to your argument? Are we meant to think more of him or less of him? Because if we're meant to think less of MJ, then we definitely need to think less of LeBron James. But I'm not done yet. I want to address the larger point that I think Gil is trying to convey here. I think what Gilbert Arenas is trying to convey is that ultimately, LeBron has had it harder, right? LeBron has had it harder than Michael Jordan has had it. And therefore, we need to view LeBron James in a different light because he's had to go through more difficulties in terms of the players he played against, in terms of the era that he played against, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, versus MJ, who was basically dominating his entire era. And he was the real standout individual in his era versus LeBron James, who's had to really go up against some incredible athletes. So I decided to take it a step further here because I think this information needs to be out there. If we're gonna dig deep, then I think we really need to get into the nitty gritty of it. I want us to go through. All right, I want us to go through the all-star teammates that MJ played with throughout the 15 years he played in the NBA versus the all-star teammates, meaning players that have been named all-stars at one point or another in their NBA careers. Let's start off with Michael Jordan. Here are the players that I found. If you found more, you let me know. Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Horace Grant. All right? Their total combined all-star appearances amounts to 10. If I missed someone, you guys let me know. Let's move over to LeBron James. Let's see some of the all-star players he's played with throughout the course of his career. Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade, Mo Williams, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Carlos Boozer, Derrick Rose, Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, Shaq, Ray Allen, Anthony Davis, Izrunas Ilgauskas, Wally Zerbiak, Chris Bosh, Rajon Rondo. After I tallied up the calculations, those guys amount to a total of 109. If you account for time that has gone on since I did that last calculation, it's above 110. Because some of these guys have made more all-star teams. Now, I want to take it a step further and let's look at the talent pool that MJ had to face versus the talent pool that LeBron James has had to face. Because I think this is where all of this is going. These people are saying, who did Michael Jordan face in his NBA career when he was playing basketball versus who has LeBron James faced in his NBA career since he's been playing basketball? And there seems to be this myth that needs to be dispelled right now that somehow LeBron has been playing against a higher level of competition versus Michael Jordan. So the best way I've been able to do this, because I don't know all of the NBA players that have played in the NBA throughout the course of both LeBron and Michael Jordan's career. So what I did was I said, you know what, let's distill this down to the 75 greatest players to ever play the sport. Let's distill it down to that list. And let's see, out of the 75 players that have ever played basketball in the NBA, let's see how many of these guys Jordan has played against, and let's see how many of these guys LeBron James has played against. Before we even get into that, I want to put up an image so you can see the anniversary team right now. So we're going to put it up for you guys to take a look at for a few seconds. You can pause the video, whatever, screenshot it so you have it next to you. If I got it wrong at certain points, you let me know. Let's get into this here. Let's look at some of the players MJ played against in the 90s. All right, top 75 guys. Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, Kevin Garnett, Charles Barkley, Rick Barry, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Clyde Drexler, Patrick Ewing, Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, Karl Malone, Reggie Miller, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dirk, Shaq, Gary Payton, David Robinson, Dennis Rodman, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, Dominique Wilkins, James Worthy, Steve Nash, Paul Pierce, and Tim Duncan. All of these guys are all on the top 75 list. And they all played in the 90s. Some of it overlaps, right? Some of it overlaps. Let's get to the 80s. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played in the 80s. Jordan came into the league in the 80s. Moses Malone and Kevin McHale. So Jordan, out of the top 75 players, and if I missed a player here or added a player there, you let me know. My tally was Jordan has played against a total of 29 of the 75 players to ever make the top 75 list. 29. Now let's look at who LeBron has played, and let's tally the amount of players he's played. So LeBron has played against Ray Allen, Hakeem Olajuwon, players in his era, Dirk Nowitzki, Shaq, Gary Payton, David Robinson, Rodman, Steve Nash, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Carmelo Anthony, Stephen Curry, Tim Duncan, James Harden, Jason Kidd, Damian Lillard, Reggie Miller, Chris Paul, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, and Anthony Davis. According to my calculation, that is 27 players. According to the calculation I did for Jordan, I got 29 players. But let's cut it down the middle, and let's say they played against equal amount of talent. Let's say LeBron played against 27. Let's say Michael Jordan played against 27. What does this mean? It means that both MJ and LeBron played against virtually the same talent pool. Now, what's interesting, which I didn't include, was their ages. And when some of those guys retired, but you can do that on both players, on both sides. So I didn't want to do that to overcomplicate things. I did this to show you that both of these guys have gone up against a large talent pool. But if you leave it to the Gilbert Arenas of the world and some of these clueless NBA fans that run around twerking it up all over the internet, slapping each other with honey, just hollering and screaming, running through the woods, fighting bears for honey, just basically losing their damn minds, knocking over drinks all over coffee, just spilling drinks all over the table, they would have you believe, well, who did Michael Jordan play against? Well, it looks like from a talent perspective, they played against virtually the same amount of talent. Virtually the same amount of talent. But here's the fundamental difference. One guy was able to win more while the other wasn't. I repeat, one guy was able to win more while the other hasn't. And here's another wrinkle that I think is important that I outline right now. Jordan faced these players in a 15-year window. LeBron has faced these players in a 21-year window. Had LeBron played the exact amount of years that Michael Jordan played, one could make an argument that he would have played against less. We could make an argument. We could make an argument for this. We also have to bear in mind he's been playing for longer. So to Gil's initial point of trying to make a point about who were the top people that Michael Jordan played against in his career, in terms of the shooting guard position, different eras. Some eras had better big men than other eras. In Jordan's era, all right, you had players that maybe were not the best players at his position because he was the best, but there were other players that were great at other positions, like the point guard position, like Magic Johnson. You had other players that were good at the small forward position, like Larry Bird. But you also had some great two guards, like Clyde Drexler. You had great power forwards, like Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing. You had great centers, like Shaquille O'Neal, and many, many others. Who said that all of the talent needs to be at your specific position? Who said that? But if that's the argument you want to make, Gil, it sounds like you can be saying that Kobe Bryant is better than both Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Because he's played against a plethora of talent, an ungodly amount of talent at his position and at other positions. Are you getting ready to say that Kobe Bryant is better than Michael Jordan because of that? No, that would be a crazy argument. So the question is, why are we making it now? Why are we making it now? I'll give you guys the final death blow here. And I mean that hypothetically, obviously, not really. We talk about the competition that LeBron has faced in the finals versus Michael Jordan. These people like hollering and screaming and twerking all over the table and slapping each other with honey, talking about, oh, he played against Thanos and these boys in the finals. Do you know? Are you aware that Michael Jordan and LeBron James have faced virtually the same amount of talent in terms of top 75 guys in the finals? I think LeBron has played against one more top 75 guy in the finals than Michael Jordan. But if you count all of the top 75 teammates LeBron has played with, it's egregious. It's egregious. It's egregious. So what I've come to realize is that Gil is now annexing himself to these crazy fringe opinions. And I don't know why he's doing it. Gil calls himself a basketball historian, but nevertheless, he likes to associate himself with these crazy takes. Crazy takes. The only people that are making these takes are uninformed NBA fans, like Anthony Edwards. So why would you try to associate yourself with these crazy positions? These guys are clueless. They're clueless. Anthony Edwards, by his own admission, is clueless. He said it. I don't know enough to talk about it. Means you are clueless. So why would you defend a guy that is clueless? Why would you associate yourself with that kind of nonsense? I don't understand this. And here's the part that kills me. Gil gets upset with people that say, that always say negative things about LeBron and calls them LeBron haters. That's what he calls them. But all Gil has been doing recently is hating on Michael Jordan. If somebody was saying this about LeBron James, you would say that they're a hater. And his followers would say that you're a hater. But in the case of Jordan, it's like it's fair game. Because after all, it's Jordan. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what I say, it's not going to really change anyone's mind. So let's just go ahead and just say ridiculous things about him. Let's just go ahead and do it. Let me ask you, if Michael Jordan wasn't as great as we think he is, why is LeBron James spending his entire life trying to catch him? I'll repeat. If Michael Jordan is not as great as we think he is, why is LeBron James spending every waking hour of his life trying to supplant Michael Jordan at the top? Why? If he's not as good as we think he is, why is LeBron spending so much time trying to convince people that he's better than this guy? Why are there so many people in media spending so much time and resources to convince NBA fans, especially young, impressionable, uninformed NBA fans, that LeBron is on the same level? Why would you waste your time in that fool's errand? Why? It means that Jordan was the real deal. And I'm going to give it to y'all straight up like this. I'm giving it up like this today. I don't think LeBron is better than Kobe Bryant. The only reason I put Kobe 3 is out of respect for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his accomplishments. I don't think he is. I don't think he is. And guess what? A lot of basketball players that played in the NBA agree with me. There are more NBA players that agree with me than would not agree with me. There are more. You notice on every NBA player when they ask them their top 5, do you notice how Kobe always end up there? Some of you LeBron fans, y'all ever ask yourself, why is that possible? How is that possible? What you think Kobe, why you think Kobe up there for? Why you think? These dudes know, these cats know that when it came to playing ball, there was nothing like Kobe outside of Michael Jordan. There was nothing like him. And I'm going to hip y'all up to some game right quick. For the LeBron fans sitting there hollering and screaming and slapping each other with honey, bursting through doors, kicking down doors, gyrating all over people. Y'all think LeBron played against great competition? Kobe Bryant beat more 50-win teams than LeBron James did. Are you aware of that? I know the vast majority of you are not. The honey ran out. Malfunction. Y'all got to go lather yourself up with some more honey to keep the cogs flowing. Y'all done ran out of honey. Do y'all know that? Do you know Kobe beat more 50-win teams in 2 seasons than Magic Johnson did in his entire NBA? Y'all know that? I mean, y'all know that. You know there's a reason why they say Kobe the man, right? So I just want to leave that and for y'all to take this one with y'all on the way out. LeBron ain't messing with Jordan, and he for damn sure not messing with Kobe. I said it. I don't know what Gilbert Arenas says Kobe Bryant is his favorite player of all time. Right? He said Kobe Bryant is his, and I hope he sees this video. I'll probably send it to him. He said Kobe Bryant is his favorite player of all time. That's what he said. But he has LeBron ahead of Kobe. And do you know why he has LeBron ahead of Kobe? Because of stats. But I've heard Gilbert Arenas say that when we're judging players, we're not judging them off of stats. But then uses stats to then put LeBron ahead of Kobe. Help me figure it out. You're a basketball player. You played in the NBA. You've played against Kobe Bryant. You played against both of these dudes. Who was nicer, son? Forget about these stupid stats. Who was nicer? I know, we all know, and I think you know the answer is Kobe. Just wanted to put that out there. And I think Jordan is better than Kobe. So if Kobe better than LeBron, how in God's name is LeBron on Michael Jordan's level? Like, let's cut the nonsense. That's how I feel about it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm out.